Before this video begins, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Also, be sure to check out my affiliates down below so you can get discounts on different car mods and products. Alrighty, let's get into the drive. Hello and welcome. Today we are driving a 2022 Lincoln Corsair Grand Touring. This is an all-wheel drive, plug-in hybrid model. I would like to thank Flood Ford Lincoln in Narragansett, Rhode Island for allowing me to both review and test drive this vehicle. I just filmed a full in-depth review with all the details about this car. Make sure to check that out on the channel, and I'll do a quick spec run through now, and then we'll get right on the road. So this is finished in black with a sandstone leather interior. It has about 1,900 miles and currently stickers about $52,000. This is a 2-row SUV with seating for 5 and a curb weight sitting about 4,500 pounds. This is powered by a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder plug-in hybrid system engine, and that has a 3.5-hour charge at 240 volts to get an all-battery range of 28 miles. It produces 266 horsepower. This is mated with an electrically variable transmission and gets 34 mpg city, 32 on the highway, and 33 combined out of the gas engine, and 83 city, 72 highway, and 78 combined mpg-E out of the plug-in mode. This rides on optional 20-inch alloy wheels with 245 tires on it, and it can tow up to 2,000 pounds. This has blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning with lane keep assist, rear cross traffic alert, auto emergency braking, and auto high beams. This rides on 4-wheel independent suspension, and that is adaptive suspension. It also has a brake-actuated LSD, or limited slip differential, and a 2.91 axle ratio. Above it all, it does have a panoramic sunroof with 2 panels. Alrighty, that'll just about do it for this quick spec run-through, and we will get this out on the road. So the first thing I want to note, this has a lot of different drive modes with really cool graphics inside of here. So, normal, slippery, deep conditions, conserve, and excite. And it also does have preserve EV. So the difference is in conserve mode, the engine hasn't started yet. But if I swap into excite, responsive and engaging is what it says, you hear the engine kick in. So the engine kicks in once you get above a certain speed or when you need more power, but you can actually control that. So I'm going to drive in conserve mode to start, which is all electric mode. And I just want to see how it drives on the alone, on the electric. So to begin, we will start in conserve mode. And we do have a push button shifter in here. It's not finicky though, I actually like it a lot. And you do have a not Ford sound, you have a Lincoln specific sound, which is cool for all your alerts. And you do get shift paddles in here, so we'll try those out in a little bit as well. Alright, so let's get going. So we are in all electric mode right now, which is pretty cool. As for my early impressions just on the electric motor, you can hear it a little bit, like a whirring sound, but it's not that loud or intrusive. And you do have regenerative braking as well inside of here, so as you drive it, it will charge a little bit of the hybrid system. As for visibility, you get pretty thin A-pillar, which is good, and all the way back, it's actually pretty easy. You have wide mirrors, you have wide windows, and you also do have pretty large C-pillar windows, so that's good, very good visibility. And for the exterior, I'll put a clip on screen. I think it looks really nice, really sleek and elegant, but it has enough angles so it looks aggressive. Alright, so we are once again in all electric mode. We're currently going 25, which is the speed limit here. So that's really cool. I can get all the way up to 25. I'm just driving in electric mode. That's awesome without having to use the gas yet, but it'll kick in at some point soon. But I'm trying to drive it gently just to see how long I can go on electric. There it is. Okay, so about 33, the engine kicked in right there. And then if you floor it like normal, it's gonna, get out of its own way a little bit. But the all-electric mode, of course, is gonna be very torquey, so that's cool. For your seats up here, they're leather heated seats, and they're cooled seats as well. So those have 3 levels for both the passenger and the driver does get some memory modes. It gets 3 memory modes, so that's cool. You also get a heated steering wheel, which is very, very effective, weirdly. it is like insanely hot when you put on the heated steering wheel. It works excessively well, but yeah, it's impressive how warm this wheel gets. Not complaining, it's just interesting. And then we're currently in still conserve mode, but the engine is currently on, but it when it all turns green like that, it's trying to you know, conserve energy and drive in more of an economy mode. But we will go actually swap drive modes. We will go into Excite, and it also says responsive and engaging. So that will adjust to keep the engine on basically the whole time, as well as it does adjust the suspension a little bit. It does have an adaptive suspension, which is cool. And then for your gauge cluster in here, it's going to be all digital, so it gives you a lot of different readouts depending on your mode, which is good. And we will do a 0 to 60 in just a moment, see how this does. It's not going to be all that impressive because some of the power comes from the electric motor, but we will see. We will stomp it. Okay, so although it is Excite mode, it's not all that exciting necessarily, but it's okay, it's adequate. It's not necessarily a quick car, but it has torque down low when you need it because it uses both engines. You can see this little battery monitor, when it picks up on power, I feel a big kick. There is a big increase in power from just the 4-cylinder engine. So it is pretty easy to live with in that regard. It'll kick in when it needs it, but yeah, like right now it's recharging the battery with that green, so with regenerative braking. Going into corners, this actually drives pretty tight. It is all-wheel drive, so you're not going to really lose anything, and this is not a performance car. But steering is very nice. It's a nice weight. It's not numb, but it's not exactly tight either. But it's responsive enough. It gives you a good mix of what you need. So that's pretty good. It actually drives very pleasant. I'm on 20-inch wheels, and this is driving very quiet in terms of road noise, and of course wind noise is pretty low, considering this is a luxury car. They did a good job with sound deadening. And that noise there is all the regenerative braking at its max, that noise, so that's pretty cool. And then popping ourselves into reverse. This is one gripe I have with the car. It has a very low quality backup camera. However, that's nothing Lincoln specific. A lot of different cars have low quality backup cameras for some reason. I just wish they had better ones. Yeah, so the 4-cylinder doesn't sound too bad, but it always sounds like it's groaning to, you know, get the power out. It would not be a very quick, it would not even be a fun car at all if it was just a 4-cylinder, but this plug-in hybrid system definitely helps. Yeah, it definitely gets out of its own way due to that. And then the braking feels very good. It's very controlled. Some regenerative braking might feel a bit intrusive, depending on the person, but this one it just feels like a standard brake pedal. There's no weird input to it, so that's very good. Very simple to drive. And then overall for visibility out the sides is very good. The A-pillar is pretty thin, so it's pretty easy to see around that. And overall out the back is also good. On the interior, this has a very small infotainment screen, I think. I think it should have a much larger one. This looks like probably only like a 7-inch screen, maybe 8. But this just seems very small for what it is, because the whole climate control system and all your radio settings, which are hard buttons, which I appreciate, but it's just a very small infotainment screen for what it should be, in my opinion, because this started at about $60,000 as optioned. So yeah, I think it definitely should have a larger infotainment screen, but it's okay. Nothing too bad. And we're still in Excite mode. Yeah, so let's stay in Excite mode, keep the engine on. I want to test these shift paddles, see what those end up doing, and how effective they are. And when you come to a complete stop, it does have auto stop start, so the engine is currently off as well right now, so that's interesting. So it kicks back in very quickly though. I don't like auto stop start that often, but it does well here. Kicks right in. So drive 4, 3, 4, 5, 4. Okay, very quick response from those paddles actually. I like that a lot. So it can do up to 8 gears, simulated gears. But that's really cool. I like that. Yeah, it does a very good job in that. 6, 7, 8. I don't exactly know how you get out of it, but for using the shift paddles, but because it's not, you know, it's a push button system. I can't just change it, but I guess if you pop into neutral and come back into drive, I guess that's the way you gotta do it. Easy enough with a push button. But yeah, that is a very, very good response from those paddles. So both in the engine and the whatever it's called, and the plug-in hybrid system. Both of those respond very quickly in sync, so that's very, very good. The simulated gears do feel pretty real too, so I like that. As for the infotainment screen itself, it is pretty simple though, because it's based on a Ford Sync system. I like Ford and their system, so it's pretty simple to use, pretty intuitive, and it is good quality. I just wish it had a much larger screen, considering this is a $60,000 luxury car when it was new. But yeah, it has a very tiny screen for what I would expect. But the outside looks and the inside do make up for it a lot. There's a very nice varied choice of materials inside of here, a lot of different textures and touches, and most of it is soft touch, so that's good. I just don't like all the gloss black they use in the center console and the controls. I feel like it attracts a lot of dust. I'd rather have something a little different, but it is okay. This definitely does not look like a Ford inside, so that's good now that I examined it further, because initially I thought it looked a little bit like one, but not too much. And they also changed the Ford chime, so that's pretty cool. Let's go back into conserve mode. So this is efficient driving, so what I felt immediately is just a big drop in the RPMs. It has a very low ceiling, so if I like floor it, it's hesitant to stay up there. The second I get off, it jumps right back down in the RPMs, as it should be. This is conserved, so it's better for fuel economy. In my real world fuel economy, this claims I'm getting 28.9 mpg average of driving this car. So that's pretty impressive for something of this size. And of course, that's attributed to the plug-in hybrid system, because if it just had the 4-cylinder, you'd be flooring it everywhere. You wouldn't get the necessary power. But because of it, it drives pretty well and also adds, you know, a good amount of efficiency to this. And with a 4,500 pound curb weight, this isn't small, but it does pretty well. You do hear a bit of like a whistling sound of the regenerative braking when you're slowing down. That can be a little bit intrusive, but overall, like, the regenerative braking isn't too bad. It's just those occasional, like, when you're coasting down in speed, it gets pretty loud. I don't know how well you can hear it, but when you're doing a gradual acceleration or deceleration, it does have more of a whistling sound than like a whirring sound, so that can get on your nerves just a little bit. But overall, this is the first plug-in hybrid I've driven, and I like it so far. I like the matchup, and I of course like the fuel efficiency of that. And these different drive modes make it very easy to choose on the fly, and I like the graphics they added to it. They made it pretty high quality actually to do those. And then overall, for the rest of the interior, the rear space is pretty good, and the trunk space is adequate as well. I actually really enjoy driving this. It's not the most exciting car. It's not, you know, I'll drive more plug-in hybrids at some point, but for what this is, and for the price point, for $60,000, it's not too bad. You get a very nice interior, and the exterior definitely looks like a $60,000 car. It looks very nice on the outside, in my opinion. And yeah, I think the plug-in hybrid system works well here. The start-stop technology is there. It engages and disengages very quickly, which is great, because earlier start-stop, I don't like the traditional start-stop technology because it wears the engine, but this does it, at least one of those issues of it being so slow to get started, not an issue here. It drives very well, very easily. I really like it because this plug-in hybrid technology is something that's going to be coming more along in the future. Standard hybrids are there too, but plug-in hybrids are also something that you can just keep on the fly at home, and it's even simpler to just drive around on electric for a while. So it's pretty cool. Alrighty, that'll just about wrap up this review of a 2022 Lincoln Corsair Grand Touring plug-in hybrid model. I would once again like to thank Flood Ford Lincoln in Narragansett, Rhode Island, for allowing me to both review and test drive this Corsair. Make sure to check out my full in-depth review, POV review, of this Lincoln, currently out on the channel. And as always, drive with passion. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.